Well, hey guys, what's up? It's Dubai, one and only AR Legends, and yeah, guys, today I am back with another series for you guys, which is gonna be What if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of Moro? And yeah, guys, it is gonna be really OP of a series, so hopefully, you guys will like it. And yeah, guys, don't worry about my other series, I have not abandoned them. Soon enough, you guys will see the next part of those series as well. So, I would like to tell you guys about my new manhwa recap channel. I have decided to make this kind of videos as well, so if you guys are interested in it, then the link is in the description below. Please subscribe to this channel and comment on it in the comment section, and hopefully I will be able to reach 1000 subscribers soon enough on this channel as well. So please guys, subscribe and comment on it as well. And yeah, guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. So please guys, subscribe. And yeah, guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the story. So I'm gonna start my story with I'm gonna start my story with a figure that could be seen in a, you can say, at the center of a gigantic seal. This figure was bound by thousands of, you can say, chains that were combined together with the help of seals. Several seals were present on these chains as well, as one figure could be seen present in the center of it all. This figure was none other than our hero Naruto Uzumaki, who was at the moment looking down to the ground, as in front of him was none other than 10 masters of natural energy user. These were none other than the elders of all the summoning clans, as the great Gamabunta looked towards his fellow elders and nodded as all of them started to go through hand signs and started to pump natural chakra inside of the seal to hold this guy down. As after some time, they looked towards each other and dispelled themselves to their respective summoning realm. They have been doing this for almost 16 years, and they were confident that this guy will forever be sealed off unknown to them. A small, you can say, crack appeared in the seal that was made, and a smirk came to the, you can say, face of the person who was sealed off. While on the other hand, Minato Namikaze was at the moment in a small pickle as he looked down to see that he was present at the, you can say, Chunin exam arena, and his son Menma was fighting against Gaara of the desert. The things were going on so well for the whole village. After all, it has been 16 years since the Kyuubi attack, and how he was able to defeat the Kyuubi thanks to the help of the Sanins as well as the third Hokage, and the things were going so well. But he quickly shook his head, not wanting to think about that specific memory, especially about his firstborn Naruto Uzumaki. But he quickly shook his head. This was not the time. After all, he was the Hokage, and sacrifices has to be made for the good of Konoha, and he had done what every Hokage would do in his place. As he quickly let out a smile as he looked down towards his son Menma, who was fighting against the one-tailed Jinchuriki, and he was easily winning against Gaara. Even though this Gaara guy had some talent with the control of the sand, he was little match for his Menma, his prince. As he smiled at that, suddenly, from Minato, an explosion could be heard on the faraway gate of Konoha. Minato was a bit surprised, wondering what was going on, but suddenly the Kazekage moved and he was at the moment present at the roof of the building. Suddenly, a barrier appeared out of nowhere. Minato was wondering what was going on, but he quickly realized that it was an invasion, as the Kazekage finally started to laugh as he removed his, you can say, disguise to show that it was none other than Orochimaru. As Minato quickly looked towards Orochimaru. So it was you, Orochimaru. It doesn't matter. I knew that you were always up to something, and the third Hokage should have gotten rid of you all those years ago. But it doesn't matter. I'm not the Sandaime, and I do not have soft heart for you, Orochimaru. So you will die today. As Orochimaru chuckled, well, Minato, good, don't worry. I am already well prepared, and your Konoha will fall today. While on the other hand, The invasion of Konoha has already begun as the Orochimaru finally summoned for the first and second Hokage and the fight has begun. While on the other hand, far away in the seal where Naruto was present, suddenly cracks started to appear all around the seal as it shattered like a glass as Naruto finally started to move as he stood up, as all the chains that were holding him back started to glow as if they were being overpowered, and just like that, they were shattered into thousands of pieces. As Naruto finally stood up, his eyes suddenly changed into pure silver, as well as his hair stood up, turning into pure silver. Suddenly, the tip of the hair started to turn into pure purple energy as Naruto let out a roar, and just like that, his aura exploded. The whole dimension where he was being held shattered into thousands of pieces. Suddenly, the whole Konoha, no, not even Konoha, the whole elemental nation shook violently as all the cages that were present in their respective, you can say, villages were taken aback as if they have felt something. It was only for a second. While in Konoha, everyone stopped fighting for some time. They were wondering what was going on here, as well as Minato and the Orochimaru. They were a bit confused what was actually going on here. While in the dimension of the Toads, the great elder Toad Sage eyes suddenly were snapped open. He could not believe it. How is this even possible? He had pump the natural chakra himself. He was confident in his seal. No matter how powerful the child of destruction truly be, he cannot be released from that seal. Even the Jubi would have to wield in front of that seal. It was on the scale of the Hagoromo seal, which was holding Kaguya back, as he was surprised and shocked at the same time. He was scared, and that was the condition of all the elders of all the summoning clans that were being participating to seal off Naruto. While in the sky, in the elemental nations, Naruto looked towards his hand. It seemed that it is finally time for me to grace this world with my greatness. As Naruto looked towards the elemental nations, even though he could free himself anytime he wants, but he wanted to do something with his powers. As far as Naruto could remember, he was sealed off. He was always present in that seal of that god-forsaken seal. He always tried to free himself, but soon he realized that his power was growing by the second. He was getting stronger, and when he made contact with the seal, he was able to manipulate the natural energy, which they were hoping would be strong enough to hold him back. He was able to manipulate it so easily. It was all in his control. With the help of natural energy, he was able to connect to this world, was able to see everything, was able to know everything. He knew about his so-called parents, Minato, Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, as well as his siblings, Menma and Mito. They were mere weaklings in his eyes, mere insects he could crush any time. He could feel their chakra, he could tell their strength. He knew everything. In the elemental nation, nothing was hidden from his eyes. Finally, it was time for him to be freed from that place. He was only mastering his powers inside of it, and now it was time. As he started to laugh, as he looked towards the direction of Konoha, while on the other hand Minato was kneeling at the moment. He was exhausted. The first and second Hokage were too much of a challenge, as well as Orochimaru has summoned the other cages like the third Raikage as well as the Tsuchikage. Minato was able to seal them off, but Tobirama was able to counter his Hiraishin at the moment. He cannot use it for whatever reason as he looked towards the first and second Hokage, who were now guarding Orochimaru, who was laughing. Well, Minato-kun, I suppose it is time for the fourth Hokage to be finally fallen. It is my honor. As he has finally lifted his Kusanagi ready to behead Minato. No, that would be my honor. As a voice was heard out of nowhere, suddenly a attack was slammed into the barrier, shattering it apart as Orochimaru was sent flying from the shockwave which came out of nowhere, which has shattered the barrier. As Minato was a bit confused, wondering what was going on here. He was hoping that his sensei would be able to help and enter into the barrier and was able to dismantle it. As he looked back, wondering if his sensei was here, but suddenly he froze when his eyes met with so similar eyes of his own. as he was frozen there. The oppressive aura spread all across Konoha. Within seconds, everyone was frozen as the Konoha shinobis were wondering if it was some kind of enemy, if a Biju was released here, as Orochimaru, who had just stood up, was also frozen to the spot as one figure was now flying in the midst of, you can say, air, as this was none other than Naruto, who was looking down towards the village as he finally looked towards Minato, who was frozen in the place. "Hello, father. Will you not welcome me home? I am back." As Minato could not believe his eyes. For several times, in secret, he has wondered what Naruto would look like. After all, he was the most similar to him, as he always wondered what he would look like when he would have grown. It did not take time for Minato to recognize who this guy was, and his heart almost was frozen at that second as Naruto finally landed on the, you can say, rooftop where the fighting was going on. As everyone was now looking towards him, Konoha Anbu was frozen with that oppressive aura that has appeared out of nowhere as Naruto simply walked towards Minato. But suddenly he was stopped by the first Hokage, who had tried to deliver a punch. After all, he was a reanimation, so therefore he was rather immune to the killing intent, and as such. But Naruto did not even look towards him. "Begone, insect." Suddenly, the whole body of, you can say, first Hokage was engulfed in purple energy. Hakai. And just like that, first Hokage's body was turned into little dust, as well as his whole soul screamed for a second and was simply disappeared into nothingness, as Minato was taken aback as he could not understand why Naruto was here. After all, from the things he was told, Naruto was dead and he had died peacefully, according to Jiraiya as well as the great Elder Toad Sage. As he looked towards him, "Naruto, is that you?" As Naruto said, "Naruto, huh? Well, I already knew my name, but it does sound strange hearing that. Well, father, it is always good to see you. It is too bad." As Naruto was about to, you can say something, but Tobirama quickly, you can say, threw his kunai and tried to flash in front of Naruto. But Naruto quickly grabbed him by the throat. "You know, dead people only have one place, and that is the grave. Now be gone." As Naruto simply moved his hand, and the soul of Tobirama was separated from the body of the reanimation as Naruto crushed it. As it tried to scream, it was like a small ball of blue, but it was unable to do anything as Naruto literally crushed it, as Naruto opened his mouth and ate it like it was some kind of delicious thing. As Naruto simply said, well, that was something. As he looked towards Minato, who has finally came to his, you can say, senses and quickly jumped back. He still remembered everything the great Elder Toad Sage has spoken all those years ago. The great child of destruction, that how he will be the one to bring end to the shinobi world. As Minato looked towards Naruto with, you can say, complicated eyes, but suddenly determination came to his eyes. He was the Hokage. If Naruto truly is such a danger to the world, to the shinobi world, then he is a danger to Konoha. And as the Hokage, he has to stop him. "Naruto, why are you here? And how are you even alive?" As Naruto looked towards him, "Well, dear father, those are rather harsh questions. Will you not hug your son? After all, it is the first time you're seeing me. Well, since the time you have abandoned me to that suffering." As Minato flinched at that, but he did not show it, while on the other hand, suddenly Minato was surrounded by Ambus as well as Jiraiya, who has just arrived. He has also sensed this oppressive aura, so he had decided to enter into the sage mode, summoning Ma and Pa, who seemed, you can say, a bit worried for whatever reason, but he had little time. As he looked towards Orochimaru, he was about to attack him, but then he saw that everyone was looking towards a certain direction. So he finally landed. As he looked towards Naruto, he was a bit confused who this guy was, but suddenly he froze, remembering what happened all those years ago, as well as Kushina, who has just arrived after defeating some of the Chonies to help Minato, seeing that this guy was dangerous. But when she looked toward Naruto, she also froze for a second. As Naruto looked towards her, "Well, dear mother, it is good for you to join us. After all, it is gonna be a great family reunion. If only my siblings were here. As Naruto looked back towards the direction where Menma and Mito was, as Kushina had a complicated look in her eyes as she had realized who Naruto was. But when she heard him talking about Menma and Mito, her heart, you can say, finally had some determination as she looked towards Naruto. By his aura, she could tell that he was dangerous beyond dangerous. The words of the great Elder Toad Sage were still in her mind, and she will not allow Naruto to harm Menma and Mito no matter what. As she looked towards Naruto, as Minato spoke up, Naruto, I do not know why you are here or even alive. As he looked towards the Ma and Pa, who flinched a little, but it doesn't matter. Surrender now, and I will be lenient on you. As Naruto simply looked towards him with a blank expression on his face, as Kushina was wondering if they could finally mend relationship, if she could do something. After all, he was not dead, which means that he was not dangerous, right? As she had that thought in her mind, but suddenly a twisted expression came to Naruto's face as he burst into maniac King, you can say laughter, as he was laughing as he said, "Ha, well, father, that was rather interesting statement, but it doesn't matter. I'm not here for you. Don't worry, I will take care of you soon enough. But at the moment, my objective," as Naruto looked towards Orochimaru, who was trying to slipping away, realizing that Jiraiya and Kushina were here, as well as the Ambu, since the barrier was taken down. So he has to flee, otherwise he will be captured, even though he was interested in this guy, Naruto person. But he will not, you can say, interfere for now. After all, his plan is the downfall of Konoha. He has little time for family drama or whatever was going on here. As Naruto looked towards him, is you. I'm mainly here for fun of it, and I will have my fun. So, be gone. As Naruto moved his hand, suddenly the whole air were like a tornado appeared out of nowhere. As Minato was a bit surprised. After all, he had just moved his hand, and you can say this tornado appeared. As Minato started to go through hand sign as a lightning strike to the tornado dispersing it, as Naruto was no longer there, while on the other hand Orochimaru was trying to flee, but suddenly he was grabbed by the neck. "Hello, Snake. I was always wondering what kind of person you are, though I must say, your chakra, it's disgusting." After saying that, Naruto threw Orochimaru into the center of the stadium and landed beside him. As Orochimaru stood up, he did not understand who this guy was. He has destroyed the reanimations of the first and second Hokage so easily. And it seemed that this guy was dangerous and somehow related to Minato. As Orochimaru stood up, it doesn't matter, he will take him down quickly and then he will escape. While on the time Minato, Jiraiya and Tsunade, as well as you can say Kushina, has finally arrived around the stadium ready to take Naruto down. But it seemed that he was against Orochimaru. They were a bit confused why and what was going on here. As Minato looked towards Ma and Pa, "Ma, Pa, what is going on here? Why is Naruto here? And more importantly, why is he even alive?" Even though Minato did not like to say something like that, but he was the Hokage at the moment and he has a duty to do. As Ma and Pa flinched at that, as Pa spoke up, "Minato, my boy, you have to understand something. There are laws that are in place which simply cannot kill the child of destruction. After all, his powers were simply too much to be killed off that easily. And so it was decided by the council of the, you can say, summoning animals that he will be sealed off with the most powerful seal known to the summoning animals. And we have sealed him off for 16 years. He had no contact with any person whatsoever. And he was always supposed to be sealed off. And it is a top secret. You were only given the information that he was killed off, so you would not feel any guilt whatsoever for him being locked up for no reason." So that was the reason of it all, as Minato was a bit surprised after hearing that, too powerful to be killed off for a new child. How is this even possible? As he looked towards Naruto, he had a complicated look in his eyes, wondering if he should, you can say, reach out. But Pa spoke up, "Minato, my boy, do not be deceived by your emotions. He is too dangerous to be left alone. Either he should be killed off or he should be sealed off. Otherwise, the whole world would be in danger. You can see with your own eyes his power. It does not belong in this world, in this dimension, in this whole universe." At this, Minato looked towards Naruto as well as Kushina, who spoke up. Minato, they are right. We have to stop him. As she looked towards, you can say Naruto, she has finally gained her determination. She will protect Menma and Mito no matter what. As while on the other hand, Orochimaru stood up, alright, I have enough of this. As he started to go through hand sign, thousand hidden snakes, and thousands of snakes rushed towards Naruto, who simply scoffed at it. Well, maybe it is a bit time to test my own strength. Suddenly, Naruto's aura changed as an oppressive aura surrounded the whole village once again as everyone was frozen. At that point, as Naruto's hair stood up with pure silver energy, he started to dodge all the snakes that were in the mid-air as if they were frozen. Within seconds, Naruto was in front of Orochimaru, who was taken aback, but suddenly thousands of hits slammed into his body. As Orochimaru let out a scream of pure pain and agony, well, at least he tried to, but no sound came out of his mouth as Orochimaru was slammed into the wall so viciously that everything shattered, the whole stadium shattered and was thrown into chaos as all the Jonis and the Shinobis that were present here were able to escape barely as Tsunade looked towards the destruction. Cause she did not even see that guy moving, and with that kind of force, even she would be hard pressed for this kind of destruction. As Naruto started to fly in the mid-air, as he looked towards the broken farm of Orochimaru with, you can say, disgust in his eyes. Well, it doesn't matter, you have something which I need. As Naruto quickly grabbed Orochimaru by the face and lift him up as he quickly started to separate something from his body. It was none other than the soul of Orochimaru as Naruto looked towards it and with a smirk on his face as he opened his mouth and ate it. As Orochimaru's soul was dark red and black. As Naruto closes his eyes, the lifeless body of Orochimaru hit the ground. As Naruto's eyes was suddenly snapped open, his aura exploded. As he started to laugh at that, well, that was interesting. Well then, maybe I should have a bit more fun. After saying that, he disappeared, more like vanishes, as Minato has just thrown the, you can say, his kunai to teleport to subdue Naruto as soon as possible, but he disappeared out of nowhere, as suddenly all there were screams could be heard all across the village. Even Konoha Jonis were not spared. Everything or everyone that was in the way of Naruto was literally slaughtered, as all the sound, you can say, Shinobis who were trying to help Orochimaru were near to Naruto were simply slaughtered without mercy. Suddenly, Naruto was stopped by, you can say, a three-tailed Jinchuriki and a Rasengan that was almost slammed into his body, but his body automatically moved as now finally standing in front of him was none other than Menma Uzumaki Nabakaze, the heir of the, you can say, Minato, as Menma looked towards Naruto with a bit of confused expression. After all, this face was so similar to his mother as well as the looks. By it was almost a copy of his father. He was a bit confused what was going on here. As he looked towards Naruto, who are you? And why are you attacking Konoha Shinobis? You do not seem to be on the side of the sand and sound. So who are you? As Naruto looked towards Menma with a frozen and blank expression on his face, but suddenly he burst into laughter. Well, little brother. So we are finally met. As Menma was frozen on the spot when he heard him calling him his little brother, as Naruto was surrounded by the Jonins like Asuma, Sarutobi, and Kakashi, who had recognized Naruto. After all, he was there with Minato when that thing happened. But he was confused why Naruto was alive as he looked back to see that how Minato was, you can say, finally has noticed them and was arriving here with his fastest speed. While on the other hand, Naruto looked towards Menma, who was frozen. What did you say? Did you call me your brother? Are you out of your mind? You're no brother of mine. You're just a fool and you will pay for your crimes. As Menma lost it. After all, he had some suspicion in his mind and at the moment, he was a bit tired and did not care about this guy who was calling himself to be his brother. As Menma lashes out at Naruto, but Naruto had little time for his dear little brother. He will take care of him later at the day. As Naruto quickly grabbed Menma as fiercely as he looked towards his stomach, as Naruto had a devilish smirk on his face. With a simple slap, Menma was brought out of his three-tailed state like it was nothing, as he was almost unconscious with a simple slap. While on the other hand, Kakashi, realizing that his sensei would be a bit late, finally, you can say, quickly powered up his Chidori and rushed towards Naruto, who was now grabbing Menma by the throat and looking towards his stomach for whatever reason. But Kakashi could not let him do anything as Kakashi appeared behind Naruto. Naruto, I am sorry, but it has to be done for the good of Konoha. Chidori, as he screamed, as he slammed his Chidori at the back of Naruto, ready to pierce his heart. But to his surprise, his hand stopped at the back of Naruto for whatever reason. It was not moving forward as Kakashi was a bit confused. As Naruto looked towards Menma with a greedy look in his eyes, suddenly his hand slammed into the seal of Menma as Menma was forcefully brought out of his, you can say, unconscious state as he let out a scream of pure pain and agony while inside of the seal. Kyuubi was confused. His chakra was being sucked out at such a rapid rate. Within seconds, he has lost over 5 tails worth of chakra and he was losing the other tails as well as he was trying to stop the chakra flow, but it was not working as if his whole soul was being sucked out and within seconds he had lost consciousness. But his consciousness was still present in the seal, only his chakra was, you can say, stolen once again. As Naruto looked towards a ball of red chakra as he opened his mouth and ate it greedily as he threw his little brother away. I will take care of you later, brother. As he looked back towards Kakashi, who had jumped back a little, realizing that his body was too powerful to be pierced just like that, as Naruto pointed 2 fingers towards Kakashi, who was ready for anything, as well as the Jonis that were around him, as the three-pronged kunai has finally landed beside Kakashi, who let out a sigh of relief, but suddenly his eyes finally wide open. As you can say, Minato has just arrived. Kakashi, don't worry, I am, as Minato had frozen as he was about to say that how he was here and how he will take care of the thing. But looking beside Kakashi, who was not moving, he was not saying anything. As Naruto looked towards his father with a devilish look on his face at the center of the Kakashi's heart, where his heart was supposed to be in his chest. There was a gigantic hole, and Kakashi had a blank look on his face. Finally, Kakashi limped down on the ground, dead. As Minato was beyond shock, Kakashi was like a son to him. He was his sensei, he was his student, and how he was his only living student. He could not believe it. How is this even possible? If only he was few seconds earlier, if only those sound and sand shinobis had not tried to stop him, and he had wasted some seconds, only few seconds. As he looked towards, you can say, where Menma was unconscious, just hoping that his son would be alive. Finally, he looked towards Naruto in utter anger and hatred in his eyes. He was about to yell. He was about to do something. Well, at least he tried to, but Naruto was already in front of him. Well, father, I am sure that you're sad, but don't worry. Soon enough, you and your family will join him and you will be a one big happy family in the afterlife. But as for now, you're in my way. And just like that, Naruto simply flipped Minato on his forehead as Minato lost all consciousness. As Naruto simply shook his head, these people were simply too weak for his taste. As Naruto said, alright, maybe this would bring out some motivation for these guys. After all, he was itching for a fight. He was itching for a battle. He was itching for a challenge. As Naruto let out a roar as his hair stood up, turning pure silver. And then his upper hair turned into pure, you can say, purple energy as he was his ultra form, ultra Naruto. He liked to call this form as he was able to cultivate that, you can say, a strange energy he had in his body. He was able to change the nature of it. All energy, all power was in his control. He was able to change the nature of the pure come form of the ultra instinct to the violent and destructive form of the ultra ego. It was so easy for him to combine both of these powers for years. As just like that, whole Konoha started to shake violently. Buildings exploded, mountains started to shake violently. All the 4 heads of the Hokages were brought down. Jiraiya, who was arriving here to help Minato, was taken aback. He was on his knees with the pressure, even in Sage mode. He was unable to do anything. While on the other hand, Kushina, who had you could say also was arriving, was also slammed to the ground. She was also trying her best to stand up, but the whole thing was that she was unable to do anything. Was this the power? The great Altitude Sage has spoken. Was this the power of Naruto? Suddenly, the fear she had for Menma and Mito were intensified. After all, if this is what they were up against, she has to do something. She has to train them even harder. They have to control all the power of the QB, otherwise, Naruto will kill them. She has to protect her children no matter what. While, on the other hand, whole Konoha was, you can say, at the moment in rockets as Naruto flew in the air. People of Konoha, I am the son of your leader, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and soon enough, I will be back. For what is mine, this whole village, no, this whole world will kneel in front of me because I am the only one powerful enough to rule all of you people, you mere insects. Soon enough, I'll be back. After saying that, Naruto, you can say, looked towards the sky with greedy look in his eyes and flew into the space. While on the other hand, finally everything was calmed down. Everyone has heard what Naruto has said, and they were beyond confused at the moment. Timescape, everything was finally calmed down. The shinobis on the side of sand and sound had heavy casualties as well as many Konoha shinobis has died because of Naruto. So they were mourning their losses at the same time. A council meeting was present as Minato, who has just arrived in the council meeting with Jiraiya, Tsunade, as well as you can say Kushina, who wanted to be a part of what will happen to Naruto after all. She has to do something. After all, she was his mother and she has some responsibility to take care of. Minato finally decided to take his seat as he looked towards all the clan heads that were present here. They were angry about the situation. After all, many of their own clansmen has died in this attack by Naruto, and at the moment they had truly hated him. Many of them knew their situation all those years ago. After all, they were still present here when everything happened. As you can say, Shikaku Nara spoke up, well, Lord Hokage. It seemed that the situation the great Altitude Sage has spoken has finally come true. Not only that, Naruto is for whatever reason alive and free to do whatever he wants. So we have to come up with a solution what to do about the situation. As Minato simply nodded at that, all of you already know who Naruto is. He is my oldest son. As Minato stopped for a second, but the great Altitude Sage at the time of his birth has spoken that how he will bring great destruction to the world. So we had decided to give Naruto to the summoning animals to take care of. We were, you can say, guaranteed that Naruto was disposed of, but it seemed that, according to the great Altitude Sage, he was simply too powerful to be killed off. So he was sealed off by several powerful seals, but it seemed that he is finally free and he is in the shinobi world to cause destruction. We have to come up with plans to take him down, otherwise, he will truly be the child of destruction. As everyone started to murmur among themselves, as Danzo spoke up, well, Lord Hokage, this situation does seems a bit strange. I am already contacted my own personal animal, and he has already told me about the situation and the great, you can say, premonition about the dragons. Before that, how a child of immense power and magic will born, bringing end to the, you can say, everything they know, and we have to stop him. What do you propose, Lord Hokage? As Minato was about to say something, but suddenly there was a puff of smoke in the center of the, you can say, as everyone was on high alert, but they also knew that who it could be. After all, in a puff, only summoning animals could arrive, as they were a bit surprised. Finally, the dust was settled down, and a figure of a, you can say, dragon was present here. They were all taken aback. After all, dragons were only present in the mist. Suddenly, another puff was heard, and finally, a phoenix has appeared. As both of them looked towards each other, even though they were small in size, but one could tell that they were old. As they looked towards, you can say, Minato and the council, as the dragon spoke up. Greetings, human. My name is Alpha, and I am the elder of the Dragon Clan. Do not be mistaken by my size. I have decided to shorten my size to talk with you people. Otherwise, this whole village will nothing be my own playing ground. As Phoenix simply nodded at that, and my name is Omega. I am the elder of and the former head of the Phoenix clan, and I am of the same statue as my fellow dragon. As Minato and all the council members were taken aback as Minato finally calmed himself down. It seemed that even the ancient dragon and Phoenix clan has known about Naruto's situation, and finally the dragon spoke up. I already know what you're thinking, and yes, we indeed know about the great child of destruction that was born to you, the leader of this village. And we also know about his destiny, but do not be discouraged by his power, even though he has immense power. There are also those who can stop him, as finally Danzo speak up. And who are these people who has the power to stop someone like him? After all, we have all seen his power. He has killed off Orochimaru and also killed off the reanimated first and second Hokage so easily. And they were all cage levels, especially you can say the first and second Hokage. They were truly monsters, especially in the reanimation. As you can say, Phoenix spoke up. Well, your children, Menma and Mito, also have great potential, and we believe that they're the child of, you can say, Savior, and we both will train both of them. Your daughter will be trained by me. As the Phoenix spoke up, finally the dragon said, and your son will be trained by me. We will help him, as well as his sister, to control all the power of the Kyuubi, and with our clan assistant, they should be powerful enough to take down the child of destruction. He will not be allowed to end the shinobi world as well as the whole planet, just like we know it. As you can say, all the clan heads look towards each other. After all, they were still trying to come up with some kind of plan to take Naruto down, but it seemed that they finally got an opportunity. As Minato thought it for some time, Menma was still unconscious and Mito was already injured by Gara. So at the moment, he cannot say anything about it, but before he can say anything, Jiraiya spoke up. Minato, I think that you should agree. The great Elder Toad Sage has already said that there is little he could do about Naruto's situation now, so there are only legendary clans like the Dragon and the Phoenix clan can do anything about the situation now. As Minato thought it for some time, as the Hokage, he has to do what is needed to be done. Naruto is simply too dangerous to be left alone. So, he has to be stopped. As he looked towards the Dragon and Phoenix clan for some time, but simply nodded at it. As both of them simply smirked at that. Alright then, we will come to take both of them. After some time, as after saying that, both of them dispelled themselves as Minato let out a sigh. Alright, we have to prepare ourselves. Naruto has said it himself that how he will be back later to get revenge on us. So we have to become strong enough to take him down. So we should start training. As he looked towards his, you can say, fellow clan heads and the shinobis, as all of them simply nodded at that. After all, they have lost many shinobis, and at the moment Konoha was weak, so they have to become stronger, otherwise the other villages attack them before Naruto ever could. So they finally decided to up their trainings, while on the other hand, in the space, Momoshiki was looking towards a fruit in his hand. He had just gotten the fruit and he was about to eat it, but suddenly the whole sky was almost split open. Someone suddenly appeared out of nowhere and backhanded Momoshiki like he was nothing but utter garbage, as Momoshiki was slammed into the tree which he had implanted, as well as Kinshiki, who was beside him, was also pretty surprised. In front of him, where Momoshiki was supposed to be, Naruto was flying in the air looking towards the chakra fruit with greed in his eyes, as Kinshiki quickly came out of his stupor and was about to, you can say, move his axe, but Naruto moved, not even looking towards him, and pointed two fingers towards him. Begone, insect. After saying that, Naruto simply flipped him on his forehead, and just like that, Kinshiki was slammed into the ground so brutally that the whole tree which they have implanted for the fruit was shattered into nothingness, while on the other hand, Momoshiki, who was confused about the whole situation, one moment he had just gotten the fruit ready to eat it, and in the next moment it was taken away from him. You, I do not care who you are, but you will return that fruit. But before he could complete his sentence, Naruto opened his mouth and ate the fruit in one go. As Naruto closes his eyes, he could feel the power of this planet. But he could also do something like this, but this is also, you can say, the same method. After all, he can absorb the life force of a planet, no problem. But it will take some time, and he could tell that his powers were still developing in that area. He has finally come here to, you can say, complete his appetite. After all, he was hungry. He was hungry for years there in that seal. He was always hungry, even though he was, you can say, fed that food, but it never, you can say, distinguish his hunger. It was finally he realized when he started to feed on that natural energy that he needs this kind of energy to, you can say, for his appetizer. It was like his own personal food. As he looked towards the planet, it still had some life force left. As Naruto started to, you can say, move his hand, and just like that, all the energy of the planet started to come to him. As Naruto looked towards Momoshiki and Kinshiki with a confused look on his face, these people and Momoshiki looked towards Naruto, who was sucking the life force of the planet, a bit confused. What was going on here? His own chakra, for whatever reason, was running wildly as if it was out of his control. He was about to say something, but Naruto pointed his hand towards him. Come to me. After saying that, suddenly Momoshiki's whole body started to, you can say, get out of control. His whole body started to shake. What? What are you doing? No, stop! As he screamed at the top of his lung, but his whole body turned into pure energy as Naruto quickly absorbed the energy as he looked towards his hand, and then Kinshiki, who had just stood up, as Naruto started to laugh as he said, huh, interesting, your whole species is made up of natural energy. That was a bit of surprise, but it doesn't matter. All you are is nothing but an appetizer. After saying that, Naruto pointed his hand towards Kinshiki, whose whole body turned into pure chakra and energy and rushed towards Naruto, who quickly absorbed the energy. He opened his eyes to show Rin Rinnegan, as well as, you can say, some other powers, but Naruto simply shook his head. These inferior powers were not usable for him. These were far inferior for his use. But at the moment, he was so hungry. As he flew towards another planet, he could feel the life force of the planet too powerful. And then a greedy look came to Naruto's eyes as he rushed inside of the planet, ready to devour everything inside. While in Konoha, in the elemental nations, as the news has spread like wildfire across all the villages about the situation, what has actually happened, as Minato decided not to hide this news. After all, Naruto was simply too much of a threat, not only to Konoha, but also to the other villages as well. So, he decided not to hide anything as the Raikage had just gotten the news. He was a bit confused. After all, he never knew that Minato had a son. First he thought that he was either too much of a prodigy and was being trained secretly. But when he realized that he was, you can say, a dangerous traitor, then he started to laugh, thinking that he was just a weakling and not a threat to Komo. But from his spies, he has gotten the information that this son of Minato has also killed off not only the reanimated first and second Hokage, but also Orochimaru of the Sani like it was nothing, and killed off many Jonins from the Sound and Sand as well as Konoha. So he decided to, you can say, up his guard and give orders to his shinobis to start searching for this guy and put a bounty on his head. Same thing was done in the, you can say, other villages as well, especially in Sand Village, who were already short of Jonins, and the shinobis had also lost many shinobi because of this guy and because of Orochimaru. So they will have their revenge soon enough, while far away in the, you can say, almost in another dimension to this whole planet, or rather this whole universe, one gigantic eye was finally opened. This person who was sitting in a throne had, you can say, several branches that were attached to his body as well as to his throne. Opened his eyes, a bit confused. He has never seen this kind of power. After all, someone who was born here had a strange energy in the universe. He was someone who was almost on the top of this world, this whole universe. He was almost, or rather, he was the avatar of chakra in the whole universe. And this person, whoever he had little chakra, but rather he was changing his chakra into an unknown energy to him, and it was simply too powerful. He frowned a little and decided to examine this guy. After all, he was simply too dangerous to be left alone. But hey guys, I'm gonna end this story here. So hopefully you guys will like it. For the next part, the like goal is gonna be 200 likes, 80 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So please guys, like, subscribe and tell me if you guys have new ideas or the ideas for this story as well. So tell me in the comment section. See you soon. Peace.